2015 was a record-breaking year in how hot the planet got. The hottest ever on record, the hottest since we started tracking this, but only as far back as 1880. It's only the hottest since 1880. Natural fluctuation. We've just been going up ever since then. The average,
the sun.
the sun
is hot.
It's just, and it gets closer somehow. The average surface temperature across the globe was 1.62 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average. That may not sound like a lot, but we talk about the irreparable damage that would be done from 2 extra degrees Celsius. So we're getting there. That broke the previous year's record by nearly 0.3 degrees in 1 year. The largest margin by which a temperature record has been broken. So both in terms of the absolute amount of heat and the rate at which it's going up, we are breaking records. 2015 became the 4th year since just 2000 to break the annual temperature record. 10 months broke their monthly temperature marks last year, including 5 that bested the previous mark by record high margins. They're on fire! And probably unstoppable at this point. So look, this is bad news. We're combining this with, I did a final judgment today on how we're overfishing the oceans, but thankfully we are replacing it with plastic, which by 2050 there's going to be more weight of plastic in the ocean than fish.
But have you had the plastic sushi rolls?
It's amazing.
Oh, fresh.
Yeah.
Ooh, forget them fresh.
Yeah.
You packed them up in a 6-pack. It's perfect.
So
exactly, and then you eat the thing that holds the 6-pack together. It's wonderful.
So
you combine the planet is just falling apart, and it's not like it has to happen. I understand that if you found out in 1901, I guess that all the factories and everything, they're just heating things up. But we have so far we need to go with these factories. Now we've gotten the most out of the extremely polluting technology that we used. We can still use all of our smartphones and all of our computers. We can have electricity all over the freaking place. We can all be driving electric cars, but we can be doing it powered by renewable sources of energy. That is not impossible. There are many countries around the globe that are already doing it. We talked about Denmark. 42% of their energy came from just the wind. There's wind in America too. It's a really goddamn big country. We can start to harness these forms of renewable energy so that we can still live in the affluent, luxurious way that we've grown accustomed to without setting the entire globe on fire.
That costs too much.
But it doesn't have to. Solar energy has been dropping in price like crazy until Arizona tried to destroy their state solar market. And developing these sorts of technology will give jobs to people. Why wouldn't we want that?
So you're convinced this global warming thing's real?
I understand that many people believe, good people, smart people on both sides of the aisle believe that it's a hoax invented by the Chinese, which Donald Trump literally said on his Twitter a couple of years ago. I think it's real. I think it's real, and I think it's a problem. We already have, what's the Zika virus that's causing developmental problems in kids that are infected by it. Many people, it's some new virus. Why is that a problem in America all of a sudden? It's because the rising heat has changed the migratory patterns of certain types of mosquitoes, and like many other parasites, they're going to be moving into areas they were never before in, or lasting longer in the areas that they're native to, because the climate's heating up.
Like the Republicans in the Senate.
Exactly. Yes.
It was only happening. I think there was
it's an invasion.
There's a couple cases of it. We're talking about Zika. I think Brazil's where a couple things were happening, but then that's too far away.
That's too far away.
Yeah. Us first. Once one case of Ebola was struck in America because someone came back and they're like, "This is the biggest thing ever."
Yeah.
So it finally has to. And the reason I bring those things up is because we're talking about the hottest year just last year, but we don't think about. We're thinking, oh, summertime, whatever. What are you guys worried about it? The United States of America is not Earth, So there's no real picture in our head of the polar ice caps, how that's changing. Because I don't live up there; it's still cold, and the pictures they still see is it's freezing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not a big deal. I can never live up there; everything is fine. There's no comparison to reality in previous life. Oh yeah, who cares? Soon we'll all be like California weather. What are you complaining about?
Yeah.
It was 25 degrees today. There's such a small
stupid
window.
way of thinking.
Yeah.
I live in Pasadena. I look forward to it being beachfront property, Johnny. That's what I'm looking forward to in my radio voice.
Exactly.
That's a great joke.
Yeah,
Listen,
fishing from your downtown apartment.
So
that's going to be delightful.
Let me ask you guys questions. So do you think that, either of you think that we're ever going to properly address, as a species, the global climate change problem before it's too late? Do you think we'll ever, do you think?
I mean, if you ask a lot of people, it is already too late. It is already too
I
late.
think it's already too late.
But the thing is, too late is this thing we set up as, oh, well then fuck it. But that's not true. I mean, there's too late, and then there's like really too late.
Well, I don't think
And eventually we can swing things back, but we might be putting that off farther and farther by allowing more and more carbon into the air.
I don't think we can. I agree with what you're saying. What I'm saying is that I don't think we can reverse it. I think it's too late. And I think that the climate is changing. The temperature is rising. These things are irreversible because we're not going to get it's not going to happen. The people who own the oil it's not happening.
We'll run out eventually.
Eventually.
That makes it a lot harder to use oil. But I mean, look, we've seen.
I think we should. Well, my point is that I think we should stop trying to stop global warming, and we should start planning for it. It's coming. It's here now. It's actually here. So we should just start planning for it. Like, how are we going to help people who are affected by it and put all our energy into that instead of all our energy into this futile thing of trying to stop global climate change? It's not going to happen.
Well, what I always say is
they're burning every last fucking drop of oil, is what I'm saying.
that is possible. I mean, there's certain types of oil that are already economically infeasible thanks to the dropping
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, what I would say is it's not just we should do all of these things that would be better for the environment to stop carbon from being emitted. We don't have to make that choice anymore. When I talk about how people should drive electric cars, it's not just because that in most states is already cleaner. Electric cars have a lot of benefits over gas-powered cars, and I think as more and more people get experience with them, they will start to experience that. Switching over to energy-efficient appliances doesn't just improve the environment, it uses less energy. We pay for the energy we use, it will save you money. Using solar power will save you tons of money over the long run. There are all these things we can do that are better for the environment and also better for us individually, economically, more practical, safer in some cases. We can benefit in these ways while also improving the state of the earth.
It's impossible because these things have to be mandated. People have to be forced to do these things. We had the water crisis, we still do, in Southern California. And there was these limits on your water. And we talk about the rich people in these certain areas, Beverly Hills, wherever, Bel Air, were like, fuck it, I'll pay the $7,500 fine. I'm watering my grass.
Yeah.
So there'll still be people that do it. And even people who don't have the means to do things like that, they're just used to it. We'll still leave the house with the lights on. And we're not going to think, the thought will be, oh, me turning off that lamp? Come on, you know how many people live in Southern California? Am I really doing it? It has to be forced. And that's something that can't happen in this country. You're not going to force anybody to do anything because they're going to start crying, where's my freedom? And they'll win that argument.
When I leave, I always leave a light on because I live in a Motel 6, but that's just the way you're supposed to do it.
Jesus. Why don't we ask the audience, using the framing that you gave, should we focus on stopping it or should we focus on getting ready for it?
Living with the consequences.
Okay.
Living with,
I like
say
that.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Boom.
And I
Let's
hope
find out
you're
what the
all.
audience says.
I bet they're as smart as me.